This one. So yeah, you're very welcome to this evening's webinar, which is Canva and Tools for Promotion. I'm Jackie Cahill from the LGFA Commercial and Communications Manager. Some or many of you will be familiar with me through various communications and correspondence, but I'm delighted to welcome Jamie Eastley, who's on board with us as a marketing and social media intern with the LGFA and has done some great work for us already over the last number of weeks in terms of the social media graphics that we send out to county boards on a weekly basis and in the promotion of games. So, Jamie, I'm going to be quiet at that now. I'm going to hand it over to you to introduce yourself and add a little bit more flesh to the bones there.
Yeah, thanks a million, Jackie. Thanks for having me on this evening. Hi everyone. Thanks for joining as well. Just for kind of a quick webinar on using Canva for promotion of games and just kind of some other little helpful tips that might kind of help along the way while you're using Canva.
Brilliant.
So my name
Just before we get underway again fully, folks, we have the Q&A is open and the chat box is open. I'll keep an eye on that. So if anybody wants to come in at any time, please feel free to do so in that manner, in the chat box or the Q&A. So Jamie, back to you.
Yeah, thanks, Jackie. So my name's Jamie Eastley. I'm currently doing my college placement, like Jackie was saying there, with the LGFA, working on their social media graphics that you might have seen if you follow any of the LGFA socials. And so I'm studying marketing and digital media at SETU in Waterford. And I just wanted to say that this is my first time doing something like this, so please bear with me. So I'm heading into my final year in September in SETU. So this semester I'm doing the LGFA's social media and stuff. So just going to start off with what I'll kind of briefly be going through. So just a few basic features on Canva, how to design match graphics or any other kind of graphics that might be of use to you. Just some other little small features as well, or small tips that can kind of make your life easier when using Canva. Because I think in general, Canva is a really, really handy tool for design compared to the likes of, say, Adobe or any of the other kind of well-known ones or well-known ones that you might have heard of before, because I think they can be quite complicated, and I know I'm definitely not the only person that thinks that as well. So I just had a kind of a quick question, and you can pop it into the Q&A there that Jackie has set up. How many of you have used Canva before, and what do you think of it? Was it easy? Was it difficult? I just like to know that anyway.
Right, Jamie, we'll give people a few
So
a minute or so to put their responses into that. So how many of you folks, as Jamie has asked, have used Canva? Are you familiar with it? And what do you think of it, basically? So we'll leave that stuff into the chat. Um, so Maria has come back, find it hard to use, but relatively new to it, Jamie. Cara uses a lot and loves it. Mary, yes, we use it. We think it's great. Louise found it hard to use. So Maria and Louise are on the same page there. I think it's all about practice. Jamie will get into this as we go through it now. Michelle has used it for graphics, getting used to it. Dervla from Anna there, I think. How are you, Dervla? Actually uses it a lot. Ashling Cleary, Leinster PRO, absolutely top class. Use it a lot for graphics and creating match programs. She finds it a bit glitchy at times. Austin, how are you keeping, Austin? Good to see you on board. I've been using it for a couple of years at a basic level. Would like to learn more of the tools it offers. Sharon, how are you only getting used to it now? Only using it now, getting used to it, but could get better with it. So, Jamie, I presume you're just going to go through a few basic do's and don'ts. And if it's okay, then Jamie, we can share your details with people at the end of towards the end of the webinar. We'll put your email address up and people can get in touch with you if they've more. They might be on here and they might think of something later on that they wanted to ask and forgot to ask. So if that's okay with you, Jamie, we might share your details later on. Ellen uses it, but not enough. I think I'm not look to put my own credentials on the line here. I'm absolutely clueless on it. To be honest with you, I'd love to, which is why I'm on this. I'm sitting in on this. I'd love to find out a bit more on it. Um, and Jamie, I know straight off is an absolute whiz on it, so it's good to learn from somebody that's good at it. Louise, we
Definitely,
use it regularly at our club,
it's so
promo posters, fixtures, etc., and she loves it. So that's the basic gist of what's coming in, Jamie. So Lorraine only recently started using it and have used Adobe. So that's pretty much it on that, Jamie. If you want to kick on, there's one or two more in they're done. Yeah, so we've pretty much answered everything so far, Jamie. So back to you.
it's definitely something you definitely just kind of need to get used to it, to Canva if you've never used it before. It's once you've kind of used it, it can be really really handy. You get used to it. Um, so I just wanted to say here the reasons why, from in my opinion, why I think Canva is quite useful. It's really really easy to use once you kind of get the hang of it and you've got a bit of practice on it, and especially, well, I think personally it's the best design website for people without proper kind of professional experience. Um, you know, like I was saying there, once you play it around with it a little bit, it can be easy, and it can save you a lot of time kind of creating all sorts of graphics, not just for like what we're doing with the LGFA, like for match graphics, for anything really, any other things in life that you want to use for, it's really really handy. Um, as well as that, I just have here, it's really customizable for your social media, so you can literally throw anything into Canva to suit, well, in my case, a specific game or competition. Like I do often do the promos for the league games that are on at the minute, and I'm doing ones that Jackie's getting me to do at the minute for the post primary school ones. So I can literally change little details to just suit exactly what I need. Um, the first thing I kind of wanted to start off with was what's the difference between Canva's free version and the paid version. So I'd actually just like to know, does anyone have the Canva Pro version, the paid version? If you want to pop that into the chat as well. Um,
Maybe I will give people a
but
couple
like,
of minutes on that. Yeah,
yeah,
perhaps. Maria, you've just typed in yes. I presume you're answering yes to you have the free version or the pro. You might just yeah, Ashling is Canva Pro. Louise is the free version. Yeah, Maria has the pro. Good few people have the pro. Jamie, Sharon is free version. Ellen is free version. Dervla is pro. Mark, do you have the pro or the free? Cara, Mark is pro. Cara is pro. So the vast majority seem to be pro. Jamie, I suppose an obvious question. Francis is free. An obvious question that I'd have here right now and right here right now, Jamie, will be: is there merit in having the pro or the free, or what's the best way? Because there seems to be a mix of answers in there, so it's a good way to move it on. Jamie, what do you think is the best? Is there merit in having
yeah.
the? Is there
That's
merit?
that's what I have on this slide here. So just basically talking about a few of the kind of key features, and then my opinion on why I think Canva Pro is worth it. So like, I know now for the people that don't have Canva Pro, like it's not ideal having to pay for subscriptions. Like I know for myself, I can't stand paying for things like Netflix and Spotify and all. It bugs me when it comes out, but some of them are actually worth it, and I think Canva Pro is definitely worth it. If you're looking to put a bit of time or decent amount of effort into your graphics, Canva Pro is definitely worth it compared to the free version. It's €12 per month, so it's not too bad. It's not too expensive, not over the top. But if you really want, just the basic features, stick to the free version. You could definitely get by. Like I know I used it while in college and I got by just for kind of small bits, but once I started with the LGFA, I got the pro version and tried it out. But if you have the free version, I think it kind of limits the quality of design that you could potentially do. Um, but I'm just going to run through some of the features of Canva Pro that I think are kind of makes it stand out. So being able to remove backgrounds quickly from say in my case, and I'm sure many of your cases, from county or club crests, or say players from player photos. So at the click of a button, you don't want the whole pitch, or like players, like it's bits of players in behind the player you're trying to get. You just want the player itself. So by using the background remover, you could just one click, and then it gives you the one player. Actually have a video on it on the next slide that kind of explains how to do it properly. So the next one then will be the magic resize tool. This is really handy if you want to change the size of a graphic from, say, an Instagram size one to, let's just say, Twitter or X or any other socials, because they have different sizes. So instead of having to do everything manually, dragging stuff, making stuff bigger, um, I think when you do that, it kind of looks a bit kind of stretched and out of sorts. So when you're using the magic resize, it's literally click of a button and it changes to. It's not just social media. Like there's presentation ones, like which I did for when I was doing the promo for this webinar. I originally had it as an Instagram size post, which is the square, the one that you see on Instagram was. And then I just change it to a presentation size, or sorry, a Twitter size, which is kind of like the presentation size one. And because Jackie was looking for it to put it on Twitter, so it was just it's a really handy tool. The next one I have down here is the brand kit. I'm not sure if any of you are familiar with the brand kit. It's not something I use all the time, but it can be really handy if you want to keep everything consistent, especially with a brand, like it says in the name. So that includes like brand fonts, colors, logos in different colors. So say for example, if I wanted the LGFA logo in purple, or if I wanted it in white or pink, just for an example, if I wanted to put it on different backgrounds, it kind of just keeps everything in the one area instead of having to go looking and searching through everything. Um, so the next one that I have on the screen there is kind of the main reason I use Canva Pro. So it's access to any of the pre-made graphics on Canva. So, or whereas the free version only has a small-ish selection available, ones that I often find are kind of watermarked down the bottom, and you need Canva Pro to get rid of it. As well as that, Canva Pro has a lot of different kind of cool elements. Like ones I often use in my graphics are little icons. So, the location icon that you often, little kind of symbol. You get all them with Canva Pro. There's a load of different other things I'll show you in the videos as well. As well, you can use more dynamic backgrounds like gradients, where one color fades into another rather than having a solid color background, where sometimes they can look a bit plain if you do them. Um, Another one then is the outline feature. This is one I actually often use. It's really handy in helping lightly colored logos or text stand out on a dark background. So I'll just give you as an example. When I use the Kildare crest, there's writing under it that says Kildare LGFA, and it's kind of in black or navy writing. When I want to use that on a dark background, uh, you can't see the writing at all. So if I just use the outline feature, you can actually read the writing and it's actually visible. And then I just have finally there it's the last bit, extra storage. So if you're making a good few designs on Canva, uh, with Canva Pro, you get more storage, you can do more, and as well you have access to the use of folders as well. Instead of you could lose a lot of your designs, and you'd have to keep scrolling and stuff, and you can just use your folders to kind of keep everything in one place. So yeah.
Yeah, it does seem, Jamie, that the pro is the way to go. Yeah, you've outlined it very well there. I have to say, even when you look at it, you've presented that slide very well. Actually, the magic resize seems like a great little function. And when you look at 5 gigs compared to 1 terabyte, I mean that just jumps off the slide there as well.
Yeah, no, it is. It's really, really good. It's definitely the quality of my designs have gotten a lot better since I've got Canva Pro. Definitely.
And yeah, well, we should have said that at the start too, Jamie. You're a proud Kildare man as well. We should have mentioned that right at the start of
Yeah,
this.
probably why I said Kildare, the one that kind of came to my head there
The
before any.
lilies. Up the lilies. Folks, if there's anyone, again, if any questions, I'm sure Jamie's happy to take questions at the very end, but as we're going through it, if there's anybody in the chat, Cara will mention this at the end again, but Cara has pointed out that primary and secondary school students can use Canva for Education, which is a free offering designed for classrooms and educators. It's currently unavailable for college. Canva for Education is currently unavailable for college and university students, but you can still access Canva free or upgrade to the Pro to unlock premium features, which Jamie has outlined very well. Louise has a question, Jamie. How many people can access the Canva account? Like, is it? I'm not sure what the answer to that is. I presume, like Louise, I could be wrong here. Jamie will pick me up on it if I am. You just have probably a login and you could share it with people, Jamie. I don't know, is that the case, or can multiple people access the one account? I'm not quite sure.
Personally, I've never had to actually do that. I would say that you probably can't use it at the same time, but like you can log on anywhere and anyone can continue you like doing what you've been doing on Canva. But also as well as that, you can share your designs with people, and you can say on it, oh, can edit, can view, or like view only, edit and all that. So you can actually send it to people anyway. And they can continue on what you're doing. It's which is actually really handy if you're doing like group projects or something. I remember I used it in college, and it was good for group projects.
And Jamie, do you share that by a link, or how does that share function work?
Yeah, basically it gives you a link, so you copy the link, and but yeah, you'd have to make sure that you have the setting on. It's up the top right hand corner when you're creating a design. To that the person with the link can edit or just view, whatever you decide.
So just for argument's sake, for example, and again, Jamie, if I'm wrong on any of this, please say it because I'm absolutely a novice on this. If a county board PRO, for example, designed a very nice template for a club match, he or she could share that with maybe clubs throughout the county, for example, on email.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it. Like when I remember I can't remember who was asking, or it was something to do with the championship draw, and I did something out, um and I just sent the link, and they were able to edit it because I
Right.
had set the setting as can edit. So if they wanted, while the draw was ongoing, they could
Right.
just um, move the text in. So yeah, no, it is. It's there's always, I think with Canva there's always ways around things like.
Now, before you kick on, Jamie, if anybody wants to log on to our social channels, we're on X and Facebook and Instagram, and a lot of the stuff that you'll see on our wall and our grids is stuff that Jamie's done over the last few weeks. So if you want to check that out later on when you're scrolling aimlessly through social media, by all means do that. So back to you, Jamie.
Yeah, thanks, Jackie. So so while I was actually doing this presentation, I decided to make short clips rather than doing, excuse me, live demonstrations, just in case any of you wanted to look back on it afterwards. So I'll just play this video. This is just a video on Canva's background remover that I was talking about there just a few minutes ago. Again, if you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask. I'll happily answer them for you. So as you can see here on the left-hand side of the screen, we have all of our uploads. So you choose whichever photo you want, or whichever player that you want to use for your graphic. Click on that. So we're going to basically try to get rid of the full background and just have the player left on the page. So you're going to go up here where the mouse is. It says background remover or BG remover. That's what we're going to use here. And anywhere on Canva where there's a little crown symbol, that means it's a Canva Pro feature. So you're going to click that, and just as simple as that, the background is gone. So you can move it around, resize it, make it bigger, make it smaller, put it anywhere you want on your graphic. So that's just a really handy little tool to use on Canva. So the next handy feature on Canva is the magic resize tool. So that basically allows you to change a graphic from an Instagram size post to say a Twitter or like a presentation size. So that's really handy so it saves you from having to do it manually, change everything yourself, and it just does it for you. So for example, this one here is an Instagram size one. This is the promo for my webinar. So you go up to the top left hand side here where it says resize. I'm just going to make it into a presentation size. So there, that's presentation size, copy and resize. That'll take about 30 seconds to a minute. And then once it's done, open presentation. That'll basically just resize everything to suit to fit the presentation size rather than Instagram size. You'll obviously have to move a few things, and you can make the font a bit bigger if you need. And you can move the picture in a bit. There you go. It's perfect. Yeah, again, if anyone wants to ask a question, please, I'll honestly happily answer them. So if I don't
I know now.
get something.
So I'd be bombarding Jamie with emails. So I know now why he's able to turn around stuff so quick. It's fascinating stuff, I have to say. Jamie, Sharon has a question. Should each club officer have their own Canva account to create different options, or should it be more the PRO only does it? I might try and answer that question, Sharon. Some might agree, some might not. I would say, I mean, if you're going to have, what would be the point of having multiple accounts? If you want Canva Pro, for example, you're paying multiple subscriptions, I would imagine. So I'd say one. It's a bit like using social media accounts. Sharon, I would argue that okay, you have your login for X, your login for Facebook, and your login for Insta. The PRO should be obviously the main point of contact who's running those accounts, or one or two people, but keep it tight, I would argue. So should it be more the PRO only does it? I wouldn't say necessarily no. I would say whoever's good at Canva should probably have the access to the account, but I wouldn't give the logins to too many people. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that yourself, Jamie, or if anybody else in the chat has some answers on that as well, or some feedback on that.
I definitely agree with you when it comes to having kind of one main person if they're good at Canva, because you obviously don't want everyone paying for Canva or paying for more than kind of you need. Like I suppose that's kind of what the free version is there for. If you really kind of just want the basics and say a load of people um on the board or whatever want to be doing it, then it's kind of what the free version is there for. But if you have one person who's fairly competent at Canva, I would definitely keep the one.
Yeah, I agree with that. And Cara has come in as well. We have a pro account at work. Loads of us log in and log out at varying times, but not wise to be on there at the same time. So it kind of feeds back into what we were saying, that yeah, of course you can have multiple people accessing it. And when it comes to a work situation, Cara, I'd imagine it would be easier to have multiple people on it. You might not have that many at club level when it's more of a smaller group of people. Um, Jamie, question from Mark. In the Magic resize, does the original be saved, or is it overwritten by the new size? If that makes sense, that question.
No, that's a good question. I don't know if you've seen there on the video when I done the magic resize. So there was two options. There was copy and resize, or I think the other one was overwrite. I can't remember the exact word it uses, but it's either copy and resize or just overwrite the original. So when a copy and resizes, it actually brings you to, I think it brings you to a new tab. So the other one actually saves, but it's just a copy of it, but it's just in the bigger version or whatever size you chose. So it does, you have the option there.
Brilliant. So Mark, again, if you want to follow up with Jamie and any of this, by all means afterwards. Cara says sometimes a template can be a great idea for match days, etc. Then create a copy of that and allow some to edit accordingly. She had a template for local club lotto updates, for example. I copied the last page and then updated the dates and numbers and just spread the load. So I mean, it's just a fascinating tool. Jamie, I'm conscious of time, so I'll let you kick on with another bit. Just two in the Q&A. Lorraine, I use Canva on mobile phone. It can create posts on the go. Very good. Lorraine, can you access phone and PC at the same time, Jamie? I presume if you're logged into different devices, you're not going to have the same screen on your phone as you would on your PC or laptop, for example.
I think you can log in at the same time. I've never tried it myself because I always think, um, I always use my laptop for Canva. It's a lot. Obviously, the app is good if you're on the go. If you just
Yeah.
want to, like Jackie, I've sent you a few things when I've been out, and I've just changed something. If it's just a small little detail, like say a venue change or something like that, that's fine. But I think you can be on at the same time, but I wouldn't really recommend it.
Okay. One more Q&A before we move on. Jamie, can a Canva Pro account export a design stroke template to a different free Canva account for further editing? If that question makes sense.
Yeah, I understand. See, I've actually tried to do this before, and say if one person has Canva Pro and sends it to someone who to try and edit, they can only edit like with the free elements. They can't use Pro features, if that makes sense. They can just I think they can change the like text box and stuff like that, but you can't use any Pro features unless you actually have Canva Pro.
That
So
makes
that's why,
sense.
again,
If you've any follow up on that, Austin, you come back to us on it. Jamie, we'll let you move on with a little bit, and we'll maybe after a few more minutes, we'll take a few more questions and feedback from our participants as well. Makes sense. Yeah, fair play. Thanks, Austin. Back to you, Jamie.
perfect. Thanks, Jackie. I just actually have another video here, and it's on Canva's pre-made templates. I'm sure because a lot of you have said that you have used Canva before. I'm sure you is kind of familiar with it. So Canva's pre-made templates. Uh, Obviously, there's more with Canva Pro than there is with the Canva free version, but I think it makes for a more professional kind of all-around appearance when you use the templates rather than starting from scratch and doing your own text boxes. And like often the ones I use or the posters I've made they're all Canva pre-made templates. But I'll play this video and I'll hopefully it explains
Grab a
a bit
drink of
about
water
the
while that's playing too, Jamie.
So the next tip I'm going to give you is to make use of Canva's kind of pre-made templates for graphics. So this can be really handy when making match day graphics, making a fixture graphic, or like a next match graphic, or like a latest standing graphic, which is what I do all the time. And it's really handy with some of the pre-made templates that Canva have. So you do this rather than kind of start from scratch and do it using your own text box, which I think just looks a bit kind of unprofessional or a bit messy. So you come across here where it says design. I already have it up here. So you basically search in something along the lines of match day poster or team versus team, whatever you're looking for. And the one I chose here was this one. It's just a really handy one. This is one that you wouldn't need to use images of players. Rather, you can just use like the crests. It's a really handy kind of one to use. So you just get rid of the pre-made template once, change the names, whatever. Dublin versus the need. And then go down to uploads along the left-hand side here. Search Dublin. I already have the files uploaded to my Canvas, so it's fairly easy to do. Just in the purple there, upload files, throw in the crests, Make it the right size. Other team need background remover. That's where it's really handy for crests or something like that, where it gets rid of the white in the middle where we don't need it gone. I can go back into background remover and just restore that. There's always ways around it, but it's still really handy. So yeah, that's obviously you can add more things such as elements here, where you can add in kind of icons. I was talking about like a, let's just say location, which is one that I always use. So like a location icon, say you're saying, put that down here and just say like Parnell Park or wherever the game is. Just small little things like that are really handy. And there's other things you can look up, like say if I'm doing like for my Canva webinar, I did who, like who is it aimed at? I can use something simple enough, just like that. Did like that's a pro feature again. Like all the best ones are pro. So yeah, that's just a quick run through of what you can do with the pre-made templates that they offer on Canva. Yeah,
And
so
Jamie, top class.
yeah, again, any questions on that kind of stuff, just pop it into the chat. Um, so I just gave a few examples of some of my match posters that I've made using Canva's pre-made templates. So basically what I've done with these is search on the left hand side like I was showing you there. Um, and I've searched something like match day poster, game day, just anything along those lines, and I've chosen the one that I like, and I've modified them to suit the game I'm creating a poster for. The one on the left there, the Waterford versus Kerry one, that was quite a good one that I done. That was a pre-made template, and I just changed everything on it, and I think it looks quite decent anyway. Um, so
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Go back to that one there, Jamie. I'm just intrigued by that one, the water for Kerry. There's so much in it, like because you've got obviously the crests are in the background, the players are front and center. You've got obviously the lockup logo top right, the competition logo bottom right, the match details bottom center, and then you've got the little like the bits of purple coming out of the bottom left and top left are over the wording as well. It's just as it's how long would it take you to do one of those?
They're them head-to-head ones usually actually take the longest compared to others each week, which obviously isn't possible all the time. Um, but that'll probably take me about 45 minutes, I suppose,
Yeah.
to an hour, depending on depending on the mood I'm in, I suppose.
Good man. We've one in the
But
chat, Jamie. The
yeah,
templates are magic, great for idea generation. Cara likes your work. Um, we Austin is this one. We answered already. What time did five did we? Hold on. No, this is a new one from Austin. Jamie, can you magic resize a pre-made template?
that is found on Canva, I presume. You could do that. Obviously when these templates are made, they're supposed to be kind of made for, say, like these ones, Instagram, and you could change them to say like a Twitter post or whatever. They might look a bit out of place because obviously they've been made for the Instagram size post or whatever it is. But they could like, and you could probably make it work if you really wanted to. I've never done it myself, but you could definitely make it work.
Okay. One more in the Q&A before you kick on. Jamie, you and others are using Canva Pro. Can a poster look professional for a promo for a match using the free version? Or should you really be paying to use the pro version? Does it make it doesn't make it look bad for the club if the promos don't look good. I would argue, Jamie, it's a question, Sharon, you're going to have to answer yourself and ask yourself. I think right back from the start of the presentation, Jamie's made the point that, and I think it is kind of as he goes through the presentation, pro is better, but there's still a lot you can do with the free version, Jamie.
There's like the free version, like I was saying there a few minutes ago, you can get by with the free version, and Canva does offer decent amount of free templates. You just can't get a lot of the one like we are talking about there a minute ago, Jackie, the Watford and Cameron, that was definitely a pro. I actually no, that all of them are pro. But there is free ones that you can use. Just nowhere near as much, and you can't use a lot of the little elements that I was talking about as well. That Canva offer, but you can definitely. And I wouldn't say it looks bad, but because you can, if you're creative enough, you can use a free one and make it look good. Just depends on how creative you are, I suppose. But yeah.
Yeah, and as Cara says, lots of college students work away on the free version for digital marketing, etc., which I'm sure you have plenty of experience of yourself, Jamie. So, Jamie, kick on to the next slide there. You're doing great. Thanks a minute.
Yeah, grand. Thanks, Jackie. Yeah, so just I thought I should probably put in key element of a graphic to include in your graphics on Canva. Um, I've had a lot of experience with this already, even though I've only started in January here, but I'm a bit of a pro on this already. But so just the first one being the use of correct team crests and colors. Um, so when you're doing graphics, make sure if I'm sure you'll have the right one for your own team, but if you're for the opposition, make sure it's the right crest. Like the start of or when I first started, I was using the wrong crest for Cavan because I was using the men's crest, thinking it was the same. Jackie had to correct me, and the Mayo one as well, I think, is different. There's a few ones that are different for the ladies compared to the men, so just make sure you have the right one. Um, and I have here to use the color dropper. So if you see the text or the font, Cavan, Limerick, Wexford, they're all the county colours. So that's actually come directly from the crest there. So that Cavan blue is I got that using the color dropper over to the Cavan crest and onto the font. So I don't have a video here, but I have a little step you can use to do that. This isn't just, you can't just use this just for text. You can use it for backgrounds as well if you want a background, an exact color, or any other element. So you use the color dropper. So you see where it says the A there, that's just to go into the color. Then you press the color wheel with the little plus sign in the middle, and then you press the color dropper. If I haven't explained that properly, please ask. But yeah, next one then is just match details. So make sure you always double and triple check that details are right. So the main ones obviously being the date, time, and location, because I've done this before where I've checked but not properly and I've gotten something wrong. You have to do it again. But you want to save time and make sure everything's right when you're doing it. Um, and then finally, just always try to leave room. Well, in my case anyway, and I'm sure a lot of you will be the same. Try to leave room, hashtags or wherever you need them. I usually put them in the corners of my graphic. Um, but just have that in mind while you're doing your graphics, because if you've filled the whole space and you've no space for competition, well, sponsors or whatever, or hashtags, you're kind of in a spot of water. Like, um, yeah. So I actually have another video here. This one is about 5 minutes long, but they're quite important. They're about frames, layers, and just positioning in general. I'm sure if any of you have used Canva a good bit, you're probably familiar with layers and maybe frames. But I'll just play this one for you now. So now I'm going to talk about frames. So frames in Canva basically allow you to place like images, videos, graphics, all inside, like neatly inside a specific shape that you choose. So it automatically crops and adjusts the image or whatever you want to put in to fit the content perfectly within that shape. So it kind of makes your design look a lot cleaner and more professional. So I'm going to show you now. You come across to the left hand side and you press elements. I've already searched it here, frames. So these are all the frames here, shapes and sizes that you can choose. Like there's stars, triangles, circles. There's a square as well. I'm gonna pick the circular one because I'm gonna put a crest inside it. It's quite handy for putting crests inside. So come down to uploads, and I'll just pick the first one I have here. So UCC is the last one I used, and I'm gonna bring it across, and it just fits perfectly into the circle. I think it looks or makes the design look a lot cleaner. So I'm gonna do another frame here. Elements, circular one. Could copy and paste that either. And I put that side, and then I'm gonna get another. I'll just say Ulster University. Bring it, and then look, fits perfectly inside. If you want to move, say if something doesn't fit, like if the part of the image that you want doesn't go into the circle, you just double click on it and you can kind of move it around to fit perfectly in. That would be fine there. Same with that one. But that looks perfect. So it's just really good for, you can use it for like a player spotlight, a match day template, or just kind of keeping team crests aligned perfectly or consistently. So the next thing I want to look at is layers. So layers control the stacking order of elements on your page. So it's like placing an image on top of one another or behind it. So like if an element is covering something else, like for example, the Ulster University one is covering the UCC, I can basically change that by adjust on Canva. So I'll show you how to move here. So you press position again, and you come across to layers, and this basically shows how high up or like say how close something is to the top. So if I put that to the top, it's going to be the most seen like element on the page. But if I bring it right down to the bottom, just around there, you can barely see it because there's a lot of elements in front of it. All these other elements are in front of it. Again, if I put this one down here, the UCC crest is still in front of the Ulster University, and I'll show you where you can see that now. When I put that there, you can see the UCC in front of the Ulster University crest. It's just a really handy kind of thing to know if you're making like a match day graphic that has a load of different elements in it, like the venue of the game, the time, the date. You just want to kind of get that right, and you know you don't want to have something in your graphic and it not be visible. So another thing I wanted to mention was positioning in Canva. So positioning in Canva can help you align all the elements on your page correctly or properly. So instead of moving things manually like this and trying to fit the two crests in between the verses, it can be quite hard to do it manually. So in Canva, it has a feature called the tidy up feature. So I'll show you now. So if you just press that, press shift, they're the three elements I want to tidy up basically. So positioning is already up. So you press arrange, you come down to space evenly and tidy up. So they're basically all perfectly aligned between each other. The crest or the two crests are the amount of distance away from the verses in the middle. It's just really handy to know as well. Like you can do this for a load of, like if you have a load of elements lined up, like I usually do fixtures list, so I'll have crests all lined up under another, and I'll need them all perfectly aligned between the crests on the other side and say a versus down the middle. So you can do with just three elements here, you can do it a load of different ones. Just depends on what kind of graphic you're doing. Yeah, I hope that's very understandable. Again, if you have any questions, just
There's a question there from
to
Michelle,
understand.
Jamie. Color dropper, is that a pro feature only?
No, that's not a pro feature.
Okay.
It's not a pro feature. It can be, you can use it. Anyone can use it.
Okay, brilliant. And these are really
It's really
handy.
handy, actually.
Yeah, Michelle says she'll be trying all of this stuff out. So, good stuff. Jamie, keep going. Everyone seems to be happy enough so far.
Perfect. I just thought I'd do a few common Canva mistakes and how to fix them. These are often ones I see. Or like I even do some of these myself still, but I'm trying to cut them out. Definitely not perfect. But so firstly, using the wrong size post, like I was talking about. But always make sure you use the correct size, especially if you don't have or if you don't have Canva Pro, because you might be in a bit of a spot of bother if you don't have the magic resize tool to adjust it easily. The next one then is something I'm kind of still doing every now and again, but I'm trying to stop. It's using a bit too much text on a graphic. So try keep your text to a minimum. Just like you would say on a presentation or whatever. It's no different on this. Try use the three key details. So who, when, and where. So what teams are playing, what date and time the game is. They're the kind of three main ones, and just try keep it to a minimum. Um, the next common mistake I see is I see plenty of graphics with crests over a white or with a white background behind it. This is where the background remover will come in handy. That's the pro feature. Um, so like it looks a bit unprofessional, say if you have a crest with a white background. I often see it. Like two white backgrounds and not just the crest on the graphic. It doesn't look great, and I'm sure you have seen it before as well. Um, so yeah. Also as well, just make sure that your font is readable. So if you're using a dark background, try your best to use like a lightly colored font. So for example, when you're using it, or use a white font on a black background in with each other, and you won't be able to see it. Um, if you really want to use the dark font on a dark background, use the outline feature that I was talking about a few minutes ago there. So you just click on effects button in the top toolbar, and this is when you put in an outline. I usually use a white outline if I'm ever doing this, because that makes it most visible. Um, Another common mistake I see is messy alignment on important layers like crests, match info text, and sponsors and logo. So always use the alignment and the tidy up feature that the video ran through already. Uh, and just makes everything kind of look professional, I suppose. So finally then stick to maybe one or two font smacks per design, just to keep the design consistent. The ones I often use are kind of suppose like a sporty kind of look. I have them written on the screen there. It says Montserrat, Anton, and then Canvas Sands is a kind of like a plain one, but it's kind of tidy. Um, then I just have here, if you wanted to look back on the presentation. It's just the key areas on Canva that you kind of, if you're new to Canva and you want to know just the main areas that you need to know about. So there, the templates which I ran through. Everything's on the left hand side of your screen when you're designing. A lot of the main things you need to know are on the left hand side of the screen. Um, so the first one, templates. So that's the ready-made designs, social. Yeah. The ones that I talked about, Pro, and then the ones that are on the free version as well. Then the next one is the Elements panel, which I also went through on one of the videos that has like the icons, shapes, lines, illustrations, tables, anything like that. that you need on your design. The text tool, so that's where you basically add your text boxes. If you need to add any manual ones, you can add your headings, any text. You can customize your fonts, change the color. That'll be in like just above the top toolbar when you're designing. Um, then uploads. So this is where you upload your own images. So this will basically be like your players or player images, crests, anything like that, sponsors, logos. That'll be in your uploads, and it's again, I think I showed on the videos, and just says upload files, and that's where all your kind of images will be in one place. You can upload audio ones as well, or whatever. Basically, you can put anything in there. And then the alignment tools, which I spoke about on the last video, to position everything neatly, makes it look more professional. The search bar, this is where you basically find your templates, any other little bits that you need, and then to upload it to your computer or whatever you're using Canva on, download it and shares in the top right hand of your screen when you're designing. You can export it as a PNG, JPEG, PDF. I think there's a few other ones as well that you can download it as, and yeah, they're the main things. And then yeah, thanks for listening and being patient anyway. And if you have any questions, make sure you ask me because I'll happily answer them.
Brilliant, Jamie. I'm just going to stop recording this now, and well done, and we'll take some questions then after that. Okay, well done.